Am I worried about De Bruyne? Well, look, what can you say? Like, De Bruyne is a class act. He just is an immensely good footballer. There's no arguing about it. And to see him come back and, score a goal and have a great assist as well in that comeback victory for Manchester City against Newcastle, yeah, it would make you sit up and take notice, of course. But I'm not as defeatist as a lot of people seem to be over the last 24 hours. I've seen a lot of people nearly just giving up already and just saying, oh, well, that's it now. City are going to do it. I hope the manager and the players certainly don't have that attitude, which I know they won't, because ultimately, right now, it's in our hands. And even if we lost the game, we still have them to come to our gaff, and we still need to sort that out. But look, it's going to be a difficult next few weeks. Arsenal away is not going to be an easy game. You don't know what Chelsea's going to show up at Anfield for the game against them, but I'm definitely not rolling over and saying, here, Manchester City, have the title, because we're on top of the league table. We need to remember that. And Manchester City, I don't want to say fear us as much as we fear them, but they know how good Liverpool are. They know how good a manager Jurgen Klopp is. So don't be rolling over just yet. There's a lot of football to be played, and we're going to get our players back from injury as well. So we've talked about De Bruyne and that influence with Manchester City, but we've got Robbo coming back for us. We'll have Trent coming back. We'll have Mo coming back from the AFCON, Endo. So a lot of twists and turns still to go. But yeah, look, the signs are ominous when you see City starting to get players back and firing all cylinders. But we always knew it was going to be a difficult task, and it is what it is. And also, I can't state this enough, but how weird was it yesterday in that game to see Bob, the young fella, come off the bench for Manchester City and win the game, and see the £100 million flop sitting on the bench and not really getting discussed too much. So that's something I'd like to talk about tonight. At what point do we call him a flop now? Because he's getting pushed out by a young Norwegian kid at Manchester City there when they needed to find a solution to win the game. Guardiola didn't feel like he could look to Jack Grealish to come off there and be that solution. He looked to a youngster, and it worked out. If Liverpool won 3 trophies, not including the Prem, would I be happy? Yes, that'd be a great season. I mean, how spoiled would we be if we won the Europa League, the FA Cup and the League Cup, and we weren't happy about that as a season? You always want everything, of course, but yeah, man, that would be a decent season. The Prem is the goal this year, though. Normally I'd say Champions League, but we ain't in the Champions League, so for me, yeah, the priority has to be winning the Premier League. Unfortunately, the Prem, it's over. No, it's not. I'd hate to be in a dressing room with you, mate, if that was the attitude. Now, look, I don't know you, Patrick Kloss. I don't know if you're a Liverpool fan. I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything about you, dude. But I find it very strange that anybody who's ever been around football or sport in general would give up because Manchester City beat Newcastle 3-2. Just doesn't sound right to me. And like, I hear a lot, and it's a fair point, about Manchester City being great in the second half of the season and Manchester City being able to do this and that, and they are, but so are we. Like, we're making out like we've had the best start to the league ever and it can only be downhill from here. No, we haven't hit top gear yet. We haven't played our best football yet, and we're still at the top of the table. So Manchester City need to worry about us just as much as we need to worry about Manchester City. I do think it will come down to us too. I'm being really honest. I don't see Arsenal being just there yet, unless they can do something in this window that would give them more firepower. Spurs, I think, will have inconsistencies, but will win some games because they are a good team with a good coach and lots of attacking options. But the Gary Neville stuff about talking about Spurs being able to pass Arsenal and Liverpool and be the challengers for Manchester City, he needs to just shut up. Honestly, I'm sick of listening to Neville and his nonsense. Anybody who doesn't look at the league with a rational brain and think that if there's going to be somebody to be closest to challenging Manchester City, it's going to be Liverpool. Because it's always Liverpool. It's only ever Liverpool. Because whenever anybody else goes in a title race with City, they fall away and capitulate. At least we've history, muscle memory of fighting them all the way to the end. And as I said, we haven't played our best football. So I'm not giving up on it yet. Not at all. Brett said, average United ball knowledge fan, to be honest. He's just I'm sick of him. I'm sick of his little nonsense biases. Even for the Jota penalty and the other penalty that we got when we played. It's just like, oh no, fuck off, Neville. Both of them were penalties, and the first one was absolute stonewall penalty. I'm just sick of listening to him. I'm sick of listening to all these gobshites just say what they actually want and wish to happen. You know what I don't hear? I don't hear any of them when they're fawning over Manchester City raising the huge caveat of the fact that they might be cheating. They might be proven to be cheating. So rather than tell us all how great they are and how brilliant De Bruyne is, which we know, at least caveat it and say they could be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes in the league. They could be stopping other people from winning. The media baffle me these days. It really does. City get away with crowding the ref all the time. No other team gets away with it. Yeah. I don't... See, here's what I can't understand, right? I get people not wanting Liverpool to win something. I get that. I can get people thinking we're arseholes or whatever. I've no problem with that. But what I don't get is people almost wanting City to win stuff. I'm baffled as to why people aren't still questioning the whole scenario. Like, we've seen Everton punished. Chelsea could get punished. Forest were in a position where they were very close with FFP. We've seen Arsenal, Manchester United, and Newcastle all come out and say they might not be able to sign players in January because of the profit and sustainability rules. They're trying to adhere to them. So we see all these things and we see clubs trying to cut their cloth accordingly. But never any mention that there's still 115 possible cheating charges for the financials against Manchester City. And how long do we have to put up with it? How many years have to go by before it's actually resolved? You know, it's 5 years. It's ridiculous. So I don't know. I know you're sick of me banging on about this, but I don't get it. I'll never understand it. On the stuff around the 12:30 kickoff, there's a lot of stuff going around to say that, where is it? I'm going to read this out exactly as it is. Is this the one? So this is from an Arsenal fan, and name's Mo Arsenal 86. If you follow this gentleman on X, they said Manchester City versus Arsenal. We moved to Sunday, 31st of March, at 4:30. The post then goes on to say TNT Sport, who still have 2 Liverpool picks remaining, want Liverpool versus Brighton on Saturday, March 30th at 12:30, making it 4 out of 4 in Liverpool early kickoffs after an international break. Now, to be fair to this guy, he goes on to say, this isn't fair on Liverpool at all. It's a disgrace. There's still a chance Sky might take Liverpool for the Saturday 5:30 or Sunday 2 p.m. as part of Super Sunday, but Sky will want to save as many Liverpool picks for the run-in as possible, and TNT wants this game. How is this going to be allowed? Like, it's a disadvantage. It is a clear disadvantage again. And we're not making this up anymore. Like, 4 international breaks, and 4 of them will be followed if they pick this game as Liverpool getting the early kickoff after the international break. It's a joke. And I don't get it. I don't get how they can get away with it. I don't get how the Premier League will look at this and go, Liverpool aren't being put at a disadvantage, because clearly we are. Now look, we have to wait for the confirmation of it, but it just feels like the forces are at work to try and make it as difficult as possible for Liverpool to actually compete. TNT are BT Sporting. TNT Sports are what BT Sport are now known as. Once they were taken over by the Turner network or whatever it's called. 12:30 kickoff should be scrapped. So I don't mind 12:30 kickoffs in general. I think a lot of people understand the 12:30 time slot, but it's just the ones after the international break that cause the real problems. So I don't mind if Liverpool get a 12:30 kickoff on a regular week, and I don't think Jurgen Klopp minds if Liverpool get a 12:30 kickoff on a regular week. But for 4 times in 1 year, and we've already done twice as much as the next team below us, it feels like we're certainly being put at a disadvantage, whether intentionally or not, it is a disadvantage and it's unfair. Why does everybody give us the 12:30 kickoff? It's not everyone. It's only one TV company, TNT Sport, formerly BT, because that's the slot that they have to pick. So if it isn't picked by Sky for any of their kickoff times, and of course it isn't part of Prime, then TNT Sport can make these picks. And they've picked Liverpool, as you've seen, in the 3 international breaks that we've had this season. So I get it. Liverpool are popular. Liverpool will draw eyes to the channel. They've paid a lot of money for the kick or to broadcast Premier League football. I get all of that. But, you know, there's also other clubs that should be put into this situation after an international break.